And we're live. Sunday Service, episode number 42. UFC 313 last night. It is no longer Shama. Shama or no Shama, it was no Shama last night. And I'm not trying to come on here and start glazing Ankalaev because I hate that he won, but I'm glad that I made some money. I'm glad that my prediction was correct. Alex Pereira got kind of exposed. We'll go through that. I'm interested to see what you guys got in the chat because I know there's probably going to be some pretty upset people in the chat. 1, 3, and 5 for Poatan. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. But come on, boys. You can't tell me you actually watched that fight and you're like, yeah, Poatan won. I thought it was a pretty solid victory for Ankalaev. I really thought Ankalaev did exactly what he needed to do. And props to him. He's had a rough path, man. He's had a rough path. Periods of inactivity, fought for the title, went to a draw, not a good look, battled back, took on, what was Pereira? The number 4 pound-for-pound fighter, maybe number 3 pound-for-pound fighter on the roster, and beat him over the course of 5 rounds. It wasn't even some type of knockout where you could be like, oh, he just caught Alex Pereira. He beat him over the course of 5 rounds, dealt with the leg kicks, and got the victory. Outstruck him. Didn't even need a takedown. He shot him, but he didn't even need him. It does kind of suck moving forward for the light heavyweight division because obviously Pereira is just way more exciting. And in all reality, if the UFC does not do an Alex Pereira rematch, I don't know what they're doing. It sounds like Dana was more interested in doing the Pereira rematch. He was a little bit disappointed with the fight, but Ankalaev, boys, you know what we got to do. Sunday night, we had a great night as far as the money goes. I got to throw a little Zinachino up in the top shelf for the boys out there. Even though Poatan is a fellow Zinner, he couldn't get it done. I don't know if Ankalaev zins. Probably not. Is zinning haram? Somebody please let me know. It can't be, right? Just nicotine, man. Just nicotine. Let's look at the chats, boys. I don't even touch on any of the other fights, but there's only 10 fights on the card. Obviously, we're going to have some chats about those, but let's hit the chats. Matt, I don't know what to say, bro. Great pick. Going with the maths, mate. The math, as in Ankalaev pick. Your heart's broken. Dude, a lot of people, and this is like the worst part. All I do every day is look at UFC stuff, look at MMA stuff, and oh my God, like there was a part of me that was kind of happy to see Pereira lose. Just so all the Poatan Glazers out there could just shut up. Like, just shut up, bro. Like, we get Alex Pereira is a great fighter. We all love to watch him fight, but he's not invincible. Like, this is where stuff goes bad for a lot of fighters is they reach this point to where everybody thinks they're invincible. They're not. Nobody on this planet is invincible. They can all lose. And at the end of the day, Pereira, he has holes, and he met his match last night. The DFS, bro. If only we could have went 8 for 8 instead of 7 for 8. Would have hit that 100x here. Would have been real nice. Magomed, 48-47, I agree. Mario Batista reincarnated. At the end of the day, bro, he did Mario Batista him in the 4th round and at the end of the 5th round. But he's the one that rocked Poatan. Mario Batista didn't rock Jose Aldo, I could tell you that. Ankalaev landed the best shot, probably multiple shots of the fight on the kickboxer. You don't think he exposed him? He didn't do anything he said he was going to do. I think he exposed him. I think he really did. I think he exposed his striking. And obviously a big part of that was the takedown threat. Even though he didn't get any takedowns, the takedown threat was there. And Poatan kind of freezes up when the takedown threat is there, or at least the threat of being held up against the cage and having to work off the cage because he was starting to get a little bit tired. But Alex Pereira froze up. And Ankalaev I rewatched it today. Ankalaev pretty much just shut down his lead hand. Orthodox versus Southpaw, the lead hand battle, Ankalaev was winning it the entire fight. And if Alex Pereira doesn't have his lead hand, which is his left hook, he's not as effective. He was pretty much resorting to leg kicks. He hit 11 headshots the entire 25 minutes. 11 significant strikes to the head in 25 minutes. This is supposed to be one of the best strikers in the UFC. Ankalaev, all he had to do was control that lead hand, and Pereira had no answer for it other than just chopping his legs. It looked to me like Pereira went in there thinking, if I hit this guy's legs enough times, he's gonna go down. That's just not gonna happen, bro. You're in a championship fight. You can't just leg kick TKO somebody. Pereira looked terrible, honestly. And you got to give Ankalaev the credit because he shut down that front hand, and Pereira just didn't know what to do. And Pereira moving backwards is not effective at all. So in some ways, Ankalaev did expose him, bro. In some ways, he did. Roofie TKO was wild. That was insane, dude. That was insane. The setup on that was nuts. Roofie's a freaking monster, bro. Boring fighter. Cool, bro. Waldo Cortez Acosta going to win for sure. Heavyweights, bro. Can never be too sure. Any news on why Justin gloves did not have UFC logo on them? Well, I did see my boy Nolan say something about possibly due to the Onyx gloves and the bad relationships that the UFC has with Onyx gloves, and Justin Gaethje took the UFC logo on, or maybe he was wearing the Onyx gloves. I don't know. But I don't know. Who really cares? The only thing is if they were different gloves, and that's fucked. Because he's the one that landed the knockdown. I got something to show you. Hey, Jai, what do you want to show me, bro? Please don't show me anything weird. I could see either man won the fight, but I see how they gave it to Mago. He was coming forward and beat shots, probably best shots. Do you think Alex gets it back in the rematch? Ank marched him down. Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Like, there's adjustments that Pereira could make because he didn't get taken down the entire fight. So, you can stay on your feet against this guy. Just get some fucking respect. Quit fucking backing up. Actually use your lead hand. Don't let Magomed just control your lead hand the entire fight. Move around a little bit. Put some pressure on Magomed. And I think he could win because it was a very close fight at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it comes down to rounds 3 and round 5. And when I watched them back, there's a case for both sides. And the real case for Pereira, in my opinion, for rounds 3 and round 5 was that he's the champ. And if it's a close round, you just give it to the champ. But I don't really subscribe to that model. When I was watching it, when I was rewatching it, round 3, very competitive fight on the feet. They pretty much both landed some leg kicks. They both landed a couple nice shots to the head. But I thought Ankalaev's shots to the head were a little bit more effective, and he was the one advancing. And then we go into round 5, where it could have been 2-2. I had it 3-1 Ankalaev. Round 5 could have went to Ankalaev too. I know 2 of the judges gave it to Pereira. One of them, Sal D'Amato, gave it to Ankalaev. But Ankalaev probably landed the best shot of the round, which was that overhand right that clipped Alex Pereira. And then the rest of it was kind of tit for tat. And then Ankalaev held him up against the cage, threatening the takedown for the last 90 seconds. So in these close rounds, where it's pretty even in the striking department, what do the judges have to go off of other than the guy that's moving forward and looking to take the guy down? Like, that's kind of the harsh reality of it. And it's very inconsistent. That's why it's kind of pisses people off, because it's sometimes they judge it to where the guy advancing and the guy that is going for the takedowns but not getting them, they'll reward that. But then also times a guy could get a takedown, not do anything with it, and they don't reward it. So it's just very inconsistent. But I could see why they judged it the way that they did. Seems to me we got a rivalry, so let's go for that. I agree. Do the rematch. Cashed on parlays and added Justin Gaethje. Don't sleep on my boy. Hashtag free cash. Yeah, Gaethje looked solid. I would say Fiziev looked fucking like he took the fight on short notice. I would say that. I seen your story post about Fiziev Gaethje. You don't really think Fiziev won this time around, do you? Not as close as the first time? No. He definitely lost rounds 2 and 3. No doubt about it. But the way it played out was pretty similar. You know, Fiziev success early. Gaethje takes over as the fight goes on and wins a 3-round decision. I wanted to believe Alex would win, but I guess it's all true. Alex had well-style picked fights. I fell into the hype. Yeah, bro. Like, the thing with Jamal Hill, keeps his hands down, doesn't pressure, and he's not nearly as technical of a striker as Ankalaev, and he doesn't have a takedown threat. Yuri Prochazka, very weird and unorthodox, but not as technical, looks to brawl, and he keeps his hands down. Explains why he's getting clipped with a left hook. All Ankalaev did was control the lead hand of Alex Pereira. That's all he did. He just kept it in check. Just kept his arm out there, kept it in check the entire time, and Pereira didn't have an answer for it. And then you look at Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka, Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Their hands are down by their waist. Pereira's doing whatever he wants with his lead hand, jabbing it out there, jabbing to the body, jabbing to the head, and then boom, left hook. So it was a pretty simple thing that Ankalaev did throughout the fight to be able to have that success on the feet that Jamal and Yuri just didn't do. It was a very easy fix. I would agree with you there. Pereira shut down under pressure. He thought that the Jan fight for sure almost knocked him out 50-50. Yeah, the Jan fight was a big reason why I went with Ankalaev instead of Pereira, because the takedown threat opened up so much for Jan in that fight to where when Jan was gassed out, he wasn't even throwing with much intent, but he was still landing. His shots were so labored, but he was still landing because Pereira was so worried about that takedown. He's just holding his hands up like this, and he's just getting shots, Pez dispensing his head. I will forever still love Alex, but God, I'm just lost in words. Hey, every champion eventually loses, and if they don't, then they retired too early. That's what it comes down to. But the other guy came from light heavyweight. It would be too small for him. Something I've been making since the announcement of Yaz Island. Okay. Let me know, bro. Type it in the chat. I felt like Fiziev gets the short end of the stick with all these short notice fights. He could be so much better. They got to give him a tune-up fight. That's for sure. They asked Gaethje about the gloves. He said it just came off during warm-up, and they asked him to change, and he said no because he broke them in already. Yeah, that's what the broadcast said. Can you really believe what the broadcast is going to say? No. Absolutely not. And let me just say this while we're talking about the broadcast. All right. I don't want it to sound like I'm hating. But Joe Rogan, it's time to hang him up, bro. It's time to hang up the commentating black dress shirt, okay? I've had enough of listening to Joe Rogan on pay-per-views. It's the same shit over and over and over again. Every time somebody gets hit in the cup, he talks about tie cups, how they're steel, and they can help you do arm bars. Every fucking time. Like, we have heard this every single pay-per-view. Talking about calf kicks. Whenever we're getting ready for a fight. This guy is a monster. Like, it's the same lines over and over and over again. And DC is like, the first fight of the night, Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz are in an absolute war in round 2. And they're talking about fights that are up later in the night. Like, they're talking about Ignacio Bahamondes versus Jalen Turner. Like, there's a fight going on right in front of you. And John Anik's like trying to reel him back in. John Anik's the only good one on the commentary when it comes to the team of Anik, DC, and Rogan. Rogan and DC don't offer anything. Okay, they really don't offer anything other than two guys watching a fight. And it's like being around that old guy when you're watching a sport and they tell you the same stories over and over again. It's like, I can't fucking deal with this, man. All right. Joe Rogan, there's no way that they're ever going to fire him because he's done so much for the sport. But somebody's got to like tell him. You've said the same things multiple times, like every single pay-per-view. It's steel cups, calf kicks. Like, we get it, man. We get it. Come up with something new. Like, tell me something about a fighter that I didn't know. The only person that ever says anything about a fighter that I didn't know is John Anik. Like, that's kind of what you're supposed to be doing. Like, I don't think Joe Rogan does any type of preparation for his job. I don't know if he gets paid or if he just does it out of the love of the game. But like, come on, bro. It's brutal to watch sometimes. Like, I hate when people tell me the same story more than once, but when it's more than 5 times, I'm like, all right, time to mute this, bro. Time to mute this. If I could just mute Joe Rogan, I would be much more willing to do that. But John Anik, I love John Anik. John Anik carries that on his shoulders. Rogan and DC is funny at times, but like, so they just don't really provide any value at all. All right, enough of that. Poetan was on skates all night, barely threw any strikes or combo. Ank's counter-striking was on point and made Alex hesitant. That is true. Good analysis, bro. They really thought throwing a bunch of calf kicks was more damaging than landing most of your shots to the head and body. Yeah, Ankalaev was landing a lot of straight lefts down the pipe to the body. And in round 3, one thing that I did note in round 3, probably the biggest shot of the round was that knee to the body that Ankalaev landed when he was entering the clinch. Nasty knee to the body. And if you've never taken a knee to the body, then you might not understand. But trust me, Alex sold me some major parlays. That's why you shouldn't have bet on him. I was really impressed how Alex had good takedown defense. I was impressed too. And I knew he wouldn't be super hard to take down because he's such a unit and he's so strong. And I'm sure he's been working on his takedown defense relentlessly. But the takedown threat just messes with his striking. Did Matty put some tomfoolery of a bet? I know he bet Pereira by sub, as he always will. Once I saw it was minus 160 pre-fight on DraftKings, I knew it was going to be Ank. Yeah, 80% of the bets were on Alex Pereira. Classic fade spot. Do you think Justin will get another title shot? If he wins another one, he probably will. I really hope they don't book him against Islam right away. That would just be so lame. I could see Yuri outstriking Ank. I don't know, man. Does this cancel Alex heavyweight combos? Yes. Yes, it does. Thoughts on Jalen retiring? You know, I feel bad for him because it seems like his career started to go downhill and then he kind of just gave up on it. But he's 29. He's 29 and he's very talented, but his mental is just not there. And if your mental is not there in a fight, it's going to go poorly for you. And the fact that he got triangle choked by Ignacio Bahamondes in round 1 tells me that his mind's not really there. So I would encourage him maybe to just take some time off. Now, you could say you're retiring, but still 29. I don't know what he's got going on for work, but maybe he comes back in a year or two and falls in love with the sport again, kind of like Jimmy Crute did. I don't think it's the end of Jalen Turner, honestly. I think he'll be back, but it does kind of suck to see. Magomed has Alex's number. True. Hot take. I don't think Santos versus Marshall was a robbery. That kind of comes back to what I was saying before earlier is like when the striking is even on the feet and then one guy mixes in a takedown or pushes up against the cage and is advancing, sometimes they judge it for the guy that gets the takedown. Sometimes they don't. It's just very inconsistent. I think Francis Marshall should have won the fight. But it was not a brutal robbery, in my opinion. It was a wrong decision, but I wouldn't say it was a brutal robbery after thinking about it more. When I think of brutal robbery, I think of Carlos Leal, Renat Fakhretdinov. But I do think Marshall should have won the fight. Betting on Ignacio by KO or decision and Lucindo by decision really screwed me over. Dude, I was going to bet Ignacio by sub, And I just, at last minute, I threw some stuff on him round 2 or 3 submission at like 30-1 and 40-1. Of course, he gets the submission in round 1. It's brutal. I usually agree with all your takes, but I just had a feeling Justin was going to pull it off. Just wild to me how the OGs always get it done. Yeah, I mean, I didn't bet any money on Fiziev. I didn't really trust Fiziev to get it done, but I did pick him to win, which was wrong. I went 8-2 on picks, which is not bad. But Gaethje, you got to just tip your cap to the guy. And I think Fiziev fought very dumb in rounds 2 and 3. It probably had to do with him being tired and taking it on short notice, but you know you're going to lose in pocket exchanges with Justin Gaethje. Why are you still standing in the pocket? Why, when he starts to enter the pocket, are you just shelling up? Like, you got to either move out of the way or you got to be first and get out of there. I just don't know if he had the energy to do it. How far do you see Ignacio going? I think Ignacio is really good. I think he could crack into the top 10 in a fight or two. He's going to be ranked now. I think Jalen Turner was like 13. I think if you gave him like a Dariush or like a Michael Chandler, I think he could probably beat him somewhere around there. About the gloves, Gaethje said that during his post-fight, wasn't referring to the broadcast. Oh, well, maybe that is it. Rogan was loving that first round of the main event with all those calf kicks. God. When Joe started bitching about the fight turning into a boxing match, yeah, was that the Diaz and Santos fight, I think. Smoking on that Poeton pack or what? Dude, I don't smoke, but I'm zinning on that Poeton pack, bro. Joe Rogan's the goat of calf kicks, bro. I like watching the fights on mute. I don't, because like sometimes they relay information that I would like to hear. But if I could just mute Joe Rogan, I would like to do that. DC was glazing Pereira's leg kicks too hard. Dude, DC was glazing Pereira the entire fight. In round 5, when Pereira landed one jab, like it was a stiff jab, don't get me wrong, but he landed one jab. And DC was like losing his mind. Like he thought Pereira had clearly won the round based off of one jab. And that was after Ankalaev landed an overhand right across Alex Pereira's chin. Like DC was glazing Pereira hard. I think they should hire you and Maddie for the commentary team. Definitely not. But honestly, like honest to God, I think I could provide more value to the commentary team than Joe Rogan does at this point. Purely based off of knowledge of the fighters, because I really don't think he knows these fighters. Like, I don't think he does any research on these guys, especially the guys in the prelims. Like, I think he just shows up. He's like, oh, Jordan Santos. Cool. Looks at him. He's like, oh, it's Brazilian. Where is he from? Oh, he's from Curitiba, Brazil. Oh, I know Curitiba, Brazil. Legendary area from Brazil. It's like, I don't think he actually watched these guys fight. You know? Joe Rogan with massive on head kicks. I don't know what that means. Bisping should be on pay-per-view. I do think Bisping is better. Even though Bisping is a little bit fucking wild, like it sounds like he's coked out sometimes, but Bisping is actually more fun to watch or listen to, I guess, than Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan gets excited over every little thing. Anik is underrated and unbiased, I think. Anik is so unbiased. Like, I know Anik has a lot of great relationships with a lot of guys. Very unbiased guy. Like, very unbiased. Do you be telling John Anik your dislike about Joe Rogan? No, but if I ever did meet him in person, I would definitely tell him. I'd be like, bro, you got to tell Joe Rogan to fucking step it up or step out. After the Marshall versus Santos robbery, I knew Carlos Leal ITD was a lock. Dude, it was. Ank over on the takedowns, as Islam would say. Send him to Dagestan 2-3 years and forget. Yeah, for real. Ank's got to work on that wrestling a little bit. Who do you think won the Marshall fight? I think Marshall should have won. Josh Van, future champ. Josh Van's insane, dude. Jalen Turner, that Moicano fight fucked him up. That's a huge swing, dude. Like, just imagine if Jalen Turner follows up on Moicano there, his career's completely changed. Same with Moicano's. Would have never fought for the title. Who do you think Ilya fights next, and how do you see that matchup going? I think he fights Islam next, and I think he beats Islam. Call it a hot take, but I think he's got it. I think he can do it, bro. Alex was weird even on the walkout. Usually you feel the spirit more. The stare down, there was even a blink where I was like, yeah, something's very fishy here. And then Bruce Buffer hit him with the one, the only. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. Buffer's giving him the one, the only treatment when he hasn't faced the guy with a takedown threat. This ain't going to end well. And nobody's talking about this either. This is Sunday after the fight. Nobody's talking about how Pereira wanted to bet Ankalaev $200,000 that he was going to beat him. And Ankalaev said no, because betting is haram. But Ankalaev could have got that $200K. I know it was going to go to charity, but the fact that Poatan was going to bet up $200,000, it's like, come on, bro. And then he loses? Yikes. I prefer DC over Dominic Cruz. Honestly, I don't. I like Dominic Cruz. I don't need like DC cracking these jokes. Like, I want guys that are there to analyze the fight, tell me about what the strategies are, tell me about what you've seen from these guys in the training room, because Dominic Cruz still trains. He coaches a lot of guys. He knows a lot of fighters. Tell me about the fighter, man. Like, tell me more about the fighter. No, don't just like crack jokes with Joe Rogan. Like, I'd much rather have Dominic Cruz. I thought he retired to avoid getting cut. I guess maybe. The Fighting Nerds take over. They are 18-0. Are they really 18-0 now? That's insane. Only 4 of them count. Okay. Everyone's always going to be like, oh, isn't there Bruna Brazil? She don't count. Okay. There's only 4 Fighting Nerds, bro. I don't think Poatan prepared enough for this fight. He should have trained more. I don't really agree with that, Brian. I think Poatan just kind of overlooked him a little bit, because you got to think, this is Poatan's, 4th fight in less than a year? He fights so often that Ankalaev's just another fight for him, bro. Like, he's the champion, and Ankalaev's just another fight. But for Ankalaev, this is the biggest fight of his life. Biggest fight of his life against the biggest star. He fought for the title before, went to a draw, and now he's fighting for the title again after picking up 2 more victories and 1 no contest. Like, this is the biggest fight of Ankalaev's life, and for Pereira, it's just another fight. So, I mean, you could probably say he should have trained more, but the guy, I don't think he took him seriously. I don't think he took him as the test that he needed to. He's over in fucking Australia running through all the broads in every country of the world. Like, I think he should have just took him more serious, and he probably could have beat him. What are my 314 picks? Definitely not official, but just looking at it, I would go, right now I'm thinking Diego. I'm thinking Patty. I'm thinking Yair, Prates, maybe Krylov, and we'll stop there. And Gian Silva. Holy shit, there's a lot of fights on that card. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 fights scheduled for UFC 314. That's insane. What a night. Cashed out $3K. Hey, we had a great night, boys. You think Arman gets cut after losing his last 3 with being finished? Maybe. But he's not a bad fighter, dude. He's definitely a UFC level guy. He's just had really tough fights. Like, his strength of schedule is pretty rough for a guy that's, never fought in the rankings before. It's tough. Just wanted to say thanks on the cash with your picks. You're the only content creator alongside MMA Casual. Y'all actually study and not bet with your hearts. I try not to bet with my heart, bro. Betting with your heart only leads to sadness. I can tell you that. So take your heart out of the equation. I definitely wanted Poatan to win, but if I'm going to put money on it, I had to go with Ankalaev. And sometimes I just won't put money on it because my heart says one way, but I also don't really think the other side is worth it to bet on. But I thought Ankalaev was definitely worth it at pretty much even money going up against Pereira. So that's why I bet it. I felt bad for Maddie with the Lucindo bet. Wanted him to win so badly. Should have listened to your boy. Could have juiced it up a little bit more. Amanda Lemos by decision, plus 275. Had her on the money line. I knew she was going to be able to defend those takedowns. And I said it in my breakdown, bro. Lucindo, body lock takedowns is the only way she gets them. And Lemos, very strong in the clinch, digs the underhooks. And she has decent offensive wrestling herself. She pretty much just bitched her on the ground for the first 2 rounds. Had 1K on Ank. Good stuff. The new generation is coming. The lightweight Rufy versus Ignacio sounds cool. I don't really want to see that, bro. I'd rather see them fight some guys that have been established. I don't really want to go contender versus contender, or like up-and-coming contender versus up-and-coming contender. Chris Lee got to go. They all got to go, bro. So does Sal. Josh Fan beats Amir Albazi right now. Agree? I agree. I've never been big on Albazi. I don't think Albazi's that good at all. A Manning cast for UFC events needs to be available. Facts, dude. Facts. Pereira was throwing light leg kicks, and they were acting like he was about to go get a leg kick KO. I mean, another thing with the leg kicks is like Pereira was constantly circling away from Ankalaev's power hand. So, I mean, it's a smart way to circle, but you can't really get as much power when you're circling and leg kicking at the same time. And he was moving backwards, leg kicking. Like, you're not going to get as much power on your leg kicks when you're moving backwards. So the forward pressure of Ankalaev was huge in that fight to deal with the leg kicks and not allow Pereira to get his hands going either. That dude No Shama hit the 3-leg decision. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we posted it on IG. We got to get his @ so we can tag him in that. But a crazy good hit. Ankalaev decision, Gaethje decision, Van decision. Shit was free money. Plus 4,300. Nice. Rufy versus Alvarez? Please no, dude. Like, I don't want to see. Let's look at the fucking lightweight rankings, bro. Like, we got a lot of up and coming contenders in the lightweight division. We don't need to see them face each other. Like, there's enough old guys that we could get some fresh blood in here, bro. Throw him against fucking Benoit Saint-Denis, bro. Throw him against Benoit. Hell, you could do fucking Fiziev versus Rufy at this point. You could do Fiziev versus Bahamondes. Jalen Turner's out of the equation. Benoit versus Mauricio Rufy? Who says no? Come on now. That'd be sick. I thought Joe Rogan was playing into the meme about steel cuffs, but doubt he's aware. I don't think he's aware, bro. Them shrooms got Joe tweaking, bro. Does he take shrooms? Probably why he tells the same stories over and over again. Nothing better than the Bisping Cruz Felder combo. I don't think that's a combo, bro. I hate to break it to you. Why are you skipping me? You better DM me after this live. I seriously got something MMA related to show you. I'm just trying to get your attention. You got to DM me, bro. I don't know your Instagram. Bisping goes off the rails for Power Slap Friday. He was talking about someone walking around calling people pussies. That's funny. Picked Ankalaev by 4th round KO. Put it all over MMA Junkie, etc. Other streams before the fight. All right. Bisping and Power Slap is himself. Bisping's a wild motherfucker, bro. Bahamondes versus Fiziev. I'm telling you, bro. That'd be a sick fight. Pereira need to focus on training again. He needs to step out of social media. Hey, when you get all that money, boys, silk sheets. Poeton's getting massive paydays now, and he's been getting massive paydays. He pretty much saved 2 events. Actually, maybe 3. I mean, he saved $295, I think it was, when Jones pulled out. He saved $300. They needed a main event. And he saved $303 when Conor pulled out. So you know he's got some big bags, bro. And he ain't used to that kind of money. So he's living large. Let's just say that. People are stuck in the whole idea of striking versus grappling as a one-dimensional affair. MMA striking is its own thing with takedown threat involved. Ank is a better MMA striker if Alex presses. I don't know if you're continuing there, but Ankalaev did outstrike him, so you are correct. Dan versus Justin should be rebooked. I agree. And the UFC 6 cover curse, man. It is live. I almost felt like Pereira became complacent knowing that he would get a rematch. Maybe. How do you think light heavyweight Jailton would do against Ank and Pereira? That's tough. I don't think he would beat Ankalaev. I don't know if he would beat Pereira. But maybe. If it gets out of that first round, though, I think they both beat him. But Jailton could beat anybody in round one. Dan versus Roofy? No, Dan's way too high up in the rankings for that. Hell, do fucking Gamrot versus Bahamondes, bro. Let Bahamondes take him in deep waters. Ain't going to hell for eating after his fight. It's crazy. And the Drake handshake That's true. The thing is, you need at least one personality on commentary for the mainstream audience. That is true. You're not wrong there. I'm not exactly the mainstream audience, and probably if you're in this chat, you're probably not the mainstream audience either. You're probably more the diehard that knows what's going on, but wants to hear more about the fighters and don't want to just hear jokes from fucking Joe Rogan and DC or the same fucking stories about steel cups for the 50th time. Don't read too much into fighters making bets with each other. It doesn't mean anything. Self-belief is high for high-level fighters. Sorry for stating the obvious. Ank had religious reasons. Okay. All right. If God was mad at Ankalaev for breaking the fast, he would have lost. He's in the clear. It's true. John Silva at the press conference was cringy as fuck. That's what I thought too, bro. Like, I love John Silva as a fighter, but I felt like he was doing too much. He was doing way too much at the press conference where he just kind of looked weird. Like, chill out a little bit. And honestly, if he loses to Bryce Mitchell, that stuff at the press conference is going to get replayed, clipped up all over social media, and he's going to look really bad. But that's the risk you take. That's the risk you take when you go out there and really just trash on your opponent like that. All right, I'm going to cut the IG stream. So if you're in the IG stream, click the link on my story, join the YouTube live, and you can get your chats in here. We're going to keep it going. Remove IG stream. Dunzo. And if you're in the YouTube live right now, hit the like button for me. Get the likes up. It'll help me out. Help my confidence a little bit. All right. Didn't get much sleep last night. Daylight savings, and on the East Coast, the card didn't end until about 1:30. And then I filmed a recap video and all that stuff. So hit the like button for me. I'd appreciate it a lot. Alex lost me a plus 45.55 parlay. Should have hedged it, bro. Should have hedged it or hit the cash out. I sent you a DM and gave you my Insta. I'm done trying. Bro, I'm on a fucking live stream right now. You're going to get all butthurt. Mitchell going to expose John Silva. Pin this. I'm not going to pin it, but at least somebody believes in him. I hope Mitchell wins. It'd be hilarious. It would kind of be funny. Sounds weird. Do you think Yuri can beat Ank Styles? Always do make fights. Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility Yuri could catch him, but in all reality, I think Ankalaev knocks out Yuri. Yuri's just, I know he moved his head against Jamal Hill, but like, bro, he is hittable. And Jamal Hill looks so slow. And he had the double knee sleeves. Like, I know Yuri just knocked out Jamal Hill. Yuri's back, whatever. But Ankalaev, I think, would just counter the shit out of him and knock him out. So I don't think Yuri would beat Ankalaev. Outside of like some type of weird shot where he rocks Ankalaev, and then Ankalaev is like all flustered, and then he starts to panic a little bit, and Yuri just retard blitzing the shit out of him, tires him out, and TKOs him. Kind of like he did to Rakic. Give me Alex versus Mario. I think Ank would KO Yuri. Yeah, I agree. 314 has better card. 314 is stacked, bro. You see Alex's ex-wife throwing shots at him, and he replied, yeah, that was hilarious, bro. That was hilarious. That woman is a pure clout chaser. Same with Beevol's wife. Like, what is up with these women? Like, you're engaged or married to these athletes, and they're like very successful athletes, and then the moment they lose, you're on social media looking for attention. Like, okay, cool. You're his ex-wife or ex-fiance. So clearly something didn't go right. And you're on social media like almost boasting that the guy lost. Clearly there's something fucked up with you. Like, you're clearly not a great person. So you're doing it for attention. You were silent while this guy was winning. And now the moment that he loses, you're on him that he lost, calling it karma. Like, what the fuck? What's wrong with people? Like, are you that miserable of a person that you have to go online and like prey on the downfall of your ex-fiance? It's fucked up. You coming to Miami for 314. I will be there. Yes. It's his ex, not his wife. I think they were engaged. Not his wife. Mario would just hold Alex against the fence and he'd have no answer. Facts, dude. Mario would just bully him up against the cage. Cash layout round one, Roofie round one, and Lemos to shit decision. If only Shama would have won generational, bro. I was in on the layout round one KO and Roofie KO one as well. That was probably the easiest parlay I've ever placed. Beautiful stuff. Is Ilya versus Islam? Okay. Yuri versus Ming Yang Zhang. That'd be funny, dude. I think that would be funny. Terrible read by Maddie. LOL, cash on Lemos too. We are way backed up on the chats. I am so sorry. Who's your favorite UFC fighter? DDP, bro. DDP all the way. The guy who asked the tire shop question DM'd me a clip of him emoting at Pereira after the loss. That's fucked. What's next for Peloton if he loses the rematch? I guess maybe heavyweight. Did anyone else here have ESPN Plus issues buying the fight? I heard people had that. I did not. Roofie versus Moicano. If they throw Moicano against Roofie could probably take him down. Or, I mean, Moicano could probably take him down. What do you personally think Ilya is talking about when he said something big is coming? I have no idea. Like, I guess you could throw the Conor fight out there for him, but like, that would just be lame in my opinion. I would love to see Topuria knock him out. I think he would, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think they should do Ilya versus Islam, but if he says it's not something we would see coming, I have no idea. Apparently, people couldn't buy the pay-per-view. We had to stream it. Bahamondes versus Alvarez. I'd be down for that too. Later on in the future, when they're well established in the top 5. Yeah, I agree. Fizzy versus Benoit. Benoit's got to fight backwards, bro. He's ranked number 15. He just took a brutal loss. He's got to fight somebody outside the rankings. Zinachino was ditched. 40 minutes in the top shelf. She's no longer. Who would have thought that Ozzy Diaz would have cardio at middleweight? He's always had cardio. He's just getting knocked out. Prohaska, Ankalaev. I got Ankalaev, bro. Dude, Santos does kind of have pillow hands. Not going to lie. Fire Marshal may need to become a police officer instead after that robbery. Brutal. I had Ank versus Alex 2-2 going into the 5th and Alex winning the 5th, but I could see why Ank won. That's how I thought it was. I thought it was 2-2 at worst for Ankalaev, but very easily could have been 3-1 for Ankalaev. Pereira landing 11 head strikes is devastating to my soul. You know what I was thinking? All these fucking weird ass decisions. And I'm not saying Ankalaev versus Pereira was a weird ass decision, but we saw a weird ass decision with Santos and Diaz. We saw a weird ass decision with Santos and Francis Marshall. What if these judges are messaging people that are betting on UFC their scorecards? What if they're messaging their scorecards to people outside that are live betting against it? Because Francis Marshall was like a minus 1,300 favorite on some books. On some books, he was minus 6,000 after the fight, or when the fight was about to end. And in some books, you can still bet, you can still live bet before the decision is read, even after the fight has ended. What if the judges are messaging people their scorecards so that people can live bet Myron Santos at plus 2,000, and they already know they scored the fight for Myron Santos? Because something's fucked up. Someone's fucked up out there. Like, it is a possibility, man. I wouldn't put it past anybody. All right. Maybe they got the fucking glasses that record and they're streaming it to people that are live betting. Who knows? Who knows? I thought Alex broke his hands before the fight. He threw 0 punches. Yeah. He was just fucking scared. Bryce took Ilya down. His ground game is legit. Yeah, I think he could probably take down Jean Silva, but can he hold him down? DC Ankalaev is deep on a single. Rogan, I don't think he's going to get it. That leg's pretty red. That leg's pretty red. Yeah. You knew as soon as Alex Pereira landed a couple leg kicks, Joe Rogan was just waiting for the opportunity to be like, oh, that leg is red. That leg is beat up. God, it's just brutal, dude. Most confident picks this weekend? I'm not fucking saying, bro. I don't know. Jean Silva will beat the crap out of Bryce. Probably will. Any early KO prop looks for the next fight night? We're really looking forward to this fucking Apex card, bro. Is that really what we're doing? Early KO looks. Fucking Nurgojai, Musasa. Fucking Kevin Vallejo. So there you go. There's 3. DC, yes. I don't think he's going to get legs butchered from those calf kicks. Barking up the wrong tree. That is a legendary line, bro. Why did we pick Turner? I didn't pick Turner. Definitely did not pick Turner. Alex's fiance had a husband. I remember him stating. Yeah, that is true. Should Balmanes go up in weight? I'd love to see Howler versus Gary. Nah, keep him at 155. He's good. You live in Florida. I stay in the Tampa area. I am on the other side, East Coast, bro. Right? Yeah, East Coast. Am I the only one who thought the Myron decision wasn't that bad? Marshall did literally nothing with those takedowns. We already talked about that. DDP is a savage. I think he beats Chimaev. Agree. BSD is scheduled to fight Yoel Alvarez. Possibly. Is it official, though? Like, I know people have reported it, but is it official? Rufi Daryush would be sanctioned murder. 6 strikes a minute. 3.2 significant strikes a minute. 0 out of 10 takedowns. I don't know what the fuck you're on, bro. I believe judges rig point spreads 100%. It's probably true. Sal D'Amato was judging, so anything's possible. Sal D'Amato, worst judge ever. LOL. He gave Ankalaev 4 rounds. That's beside the point. I was thrown off by the 49-46 originally because I'm like, dude, it's a close fight. Like, it's 48-47 either way. But, you know, after rewatching it, I'll give Sal a little bit of some slack. Okay, I'll give him a little bit of some slack. Pereira is not winning a single fight at heavyweight. Career is over if he gets a Yuri trilogy fight and loses. Yeah. Okay. How can we get rid of Sal D'Amato? I'm tired of his judging. I don't know. Somebody's got to fucking go after him. Put a bounty on him. Sebastian. Seabass. Can't get the thought of Bahamondes versus Taporia out of my head. Almost 1 foot height difference. Yeah. That would be insane. I think Ank 4-1 is a better card than Alex 3-2. Okay. How many more fouls do you think Abus would have racked up if Pereira didn't finish him? It's not Abus, bro. It's fucking Armin Petrosian. And let me tell you this, okay? Mark Smith went into last night wanting to be the good guy. Okay, Mark Smith taking a point after 2 nut shots. He wanted to be like, yo, I'm the ref. I'm the good ref. Like, I want to get into the good graces with the fans. If there's a foul, I'm going to take a point. Because there hasn't been any points taken for all these eye pokes. But as soon as somebody gets kicked in the nuts, then Mark Smith is like, yeah, let me take a point. That should not have been a point taken. Okay, the guy barely hit him in the cup the first time. The second time, he throws the inside leg kick. Bruno Ferreira is lunging in as he's throwing it, and it kicks him in the nuts. That one was a solid nut shot, but it wasn't like Bruno Ferreira was on the ground fucking coughing and dying. You know, like he was going to be okay. Eye pokes and nut shots are different. Mark Smith just wanted to be the fucking good guy out there, taking a point, putting his foot down. Oh, I'm going to take a point. I'll be the good guy because all these eye pokes people are pissed about. I'm going to go in there and take a point whenever there's a foul. That was stupid. But Armin did kick him in the nuts twice, and he grabbed the cage. So there were fouls. But Mark Smith, what the fuck, bro? Can't do anything about judges. Athletic commission don't care. Facts. Crazy how powerful the fighting nerds are. I felt like the first shot Roofy gave Bobby was on skates. Yeah, he landed a right hand that Bobby did not like. And I knew, like, Roofy's going to fucking knock this guy out as soon as he landed it. I mean, I thought he didn't before the fight. But as soon as he landed that right hand, I was like, yeah, this is over. Apex card of all Apex cards next week. Disgusting card, bro. Disgusting card. Like, literally just so gross. It might be one of the worst. As far as, you know, we always say that, though. We always say that, like, this card sucks. But then the fights turn out to be pretty good. But this is like some low-level shit. This is a glorified Dana White Contender Series card. But if you watch Dana White Contender Series, like, you know the fights are good. For the most part, they're pretty good. So, I mean, the fights could actually end up being pretty good. But, yeah, the name value is absolute shit. Might have to skip it. It's not that Alex was robbed. It's that there was a bad 4-1 scorecard, and it was close enough to go his way. They need to do an immediate rematch. All right, bro. Did I win any coin? I made a lot of coin last night, bro. I made a lot of coin. And Lamos made me a lot of coin. Ankalaev made me a lot of coin. Roofy made me a lot of coin. Carlos Leal made me a lot of coin. Yeah, it was a lot of coin making last night. It was a great night for me. Which doesn't happen always all the time. But, you know, when it does happen and it is that good of a night, got to feel good about it. Which of the 4 fighting nerds loses first? I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. I guess maybe if I had to predict it, I would say Jean Silva. Just because I think he's getting a little bit fucking hot-headed. Like Kyle Bahalio, I guess maybe Kyle, but just because his level of competition is getting to the point where it's like championship level. But Jean Silva's getting a little bit hot-headed, man. After watching that press conference with Bryce Mitchell, I'm like, bro, you got to tone it back. You got to tone it back a little bit. Fucking dial in. Because, like, Bryce is not, like, the easiest fight. He could definitely take you down and fucking ragdoll you for a little bit. But in all reality, Jean Silva probably knocks out Bryce Mitchell, and that just builds his ego a little bit more. I love Jean Silva, but that press conference, I'm like, bro, chill out. BSD versus Alvarez, not official yet. Okay. Getting robbed on a 30-27 is crazy. I don't know how often that happens, but it seems like that should just never happen. Like a 30-27 for the loser. What the fuck? Poetan needs to apologize to his ex before his next fight if he doesn't want karma biting his ass. Get the fuck out of here. I know you're big on Della Maddalena to finish the year as 170 champ. If I remember right, but with him getting the fight soon, what you think about Buckley? I'm too biased because I'm from the Lou. Not bad, dude. Honestly, not bad. I don't know what Buckley's odds are, but I could see him getting a shot at the title by the end of the year. He'd probably have to pick up one more win, and he could be in there, bro. What do I think of Nina? I think Nina is very good at her job. I can tell you that. She's very good at her job. And the UFC fucking knew what they were doing. I can tell you that. Mark Smith acting like a hero. He was, dude. He was. Yeah, I thought the Mark Smith point was weird. Maybe if it happened again, I would understand. Maybe because they were back to back. The sequency was like, I guess that's what made him do it. Just because he was kind of like, 20 seconds in between. But like, come on, bro. Just a couple nut shots. And they got fucking steel cups on, all right? Joe Rogan, tell them. They got steel cups on. They could take a couple nut shots, okay? It's all right. Thought about Gaethje's naked gloves. No thought, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck. When is the next Dana White Contender Series? I think they started in like August. Mark Smith was 100% popularity farming with that point. I get it was in close succession, but they were both clearly unintentional. If points were taken like that more often, it would make sense, though. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. Like, if that's a common occurrence, cool. But it's not a common occurrence. Mark Smith was 100% popularity farming with that. Vittori versus Dolidze, 5 rounds is disgusting. It's going to look like Lemos versus Lucindo. Oh, that fight was so bad, dude. That fight was terrible. Maddie's 3-cycle bet was so close. It was very close. Came down to a women's decision. It's tough. It's tough. Very tough. Something is seriously wrong with John Silva. I don't think he even knows what he's doing. Well, he doesn't really speak English, which is one thing. So, yeah, and he's definitely autistic. Like, definitely not something right in his head. Maybe bipolar. I don't know. But great fighter. Great fighter. If not Duplessis, who should headline UFC Africa? I think Yusuf Zalal, good for a fight night. Can you imagine a Yusuf Zalal main event, bro? No hate to Yusuf Zalal, but especially not after his last fight when he was running. Yusuf Zalal. I don't. Are they even gonna do a fucking event in Africa? From what I understand, they can't do an event in Africa. There's just not the facilities for it. So I don't know if they're gonna do it or not. I doubt it. Ankalaev will finish him in the rematch. All right, cool. Buckley versus JDM would be insane. I agree. That'd be sick. He was last card of the year last year. He's on schedule too. Yeah, that's true. DC said on broadcast that Buckley was close to getting the title shot over Jack. I did hear that. Yeah. Thanks, DC. I already knew that. Like, I guess that's some valuable information from DC, but I already knew that. I already knew that Buckley was close to getting it over Jack, just because Jack had already had the fight with Leon, but they went with Jack instead. Gaethje next fight, rebook the Hooker fight. Did you see Sean and Marab in the jacuzzi? Yeah, that was kind of funny. Does that mean that they're going to fight each other next? It doesn't really seem like it, bro. Do I watch other MMA predictions? A couple. I watched my guy, MMA Fortune Teller, for sure. What's his name? I'm blanking on the name. I don't remember. Pimblett versus Roofy. Pimblett's got to fight, bro. Who do you think Poirier should fight for his last fight? I think he's going to fight Max Holloway for his last fight. In Louisiana, bro. I think he's going to fight Max Holloway. Bryce Mitchell told John Silva, good thing you don't speak English or else everyone would know you're retarded. That's funny. I mean, they're both a little bit retarded, you know. That's not cool. You said that about Gaethje, bro. They blurred out Onyx brand logo on embedded. That's taking food out Trevor Whitman's mouth. Who the fuck cares, bro? Onyx brand is a very successful brand. I don't think Trevor Whitman is going to bed hungry. Okay. And from what I understand is the UFC have had talks with Trevor about the Onyx gloves, bringing them into the UFC. But I think Trevor like wanted too much money, something like that. I don't know, but he's got his own business, bro. Like, who gives a fuck? It's not cool, bro. You said that about Gaethje. The fuck out of here, bro. All right, now I'm getting a little bit pissy. We might have to call this off. David Witherspoon coming at me with the that's not cool. Come on, bro. John Silva's issues is he's a Gemini. I don't know when he was born, but the betting odds say minus 10,000 Gemini. We going with star signs now, parlay? Come on, bro. Joe Rogan called Lucinda a young man on the broadcast. Bro, that was so funny. That was so funny. Oh, my God. I mean, Joe Rogan might have been on the shrooms when he called Lucindo a young man. that is probably the best Joe Rogan commentary moment of all time. Calling Yasmin Lucindo a young man live on broadcast. This young man. Like, come on, bro. Come on. He was definitely off something. King Green said he slipped on a banana peel against Patty. What do you think he'll say about the roofie fight? Maybe that he was bending down to pick up a quarter and fell. Like the way he fell, it was like, come on. I didn't even know that it hit him that hard. But I guess I think it might have hit him in the temple. Like rewatching it might have hit him in the temple, but that was brutal, bro. He did slip on a banana peel against Patty. Bobby Green, man. You gotta love him. You saw Alex Pereira dancing with Chuck Liddell backstage after his loss, fucking emoting. I did see that. Turkey will go to Africa. He said it many times, so I think we will see UFC next year. Thing is, Turkey with boxing, they do stuff differently. They've done outside events in Saudi Arabia, so the UFC doesn't want to do outside events, and then the only way to do an event in Africa is outside events, really. So we'll see. How much brain damage do you predict Anthony Smith is going to get from blockhead Ming Yang? Dude, Anthony Smith could beat Ming Yang. Ming Yang is like the fresh new toy at 205, but Anthony Smith could easily fucking take him down and submit him. Like Ming Yang's ground game has not been tested. And Anthony Smith beat Vitor Petrino, who everyone thought Vitor was going to knock out Anthony Smith. Didn't happen. This is another type of matchup where it's a young guy who's fairly green, untested. Anthony Smith, vintage Anthony Smith on paper, could go out there, take him down, and submit him. MMA Guru, who headlines UFC 316. I think that's Pantoja and Kai Kara France, most likely. If not, then Marab versus somebody. Do you think Gaethje took the UFC off the gloves on purpose? I wouldn't put it past him. Fair enough. Bryce by arm triangle or twister? If anything, it's probably Bryce by decision. I don't think he submits him. If you cry and then bark, you're definitely a Gemini. I bark a lot. The many mood swings of John Silva is kind of why I think he might be bipolar, like autistically bipolar. Bobby took a WWE type fall. Facts. If Dustin versus Max does happen, do you see it playing out the same with Dustin winning? Yes and no. I do think Dustin would win, but it would be very close and competitive. So I wouldn't just say it's a Dustin win. Bomb one just cost us 7 racks. Facts. But more likely, Jalen Turner cost us 7 racks for getting submitted with a triangle choke, bro. So Hobby 2.5 against Aldo. I don't know, bro. Not a fan of the fight. Smith's going to go out like Lawler, hopefully. I hope so too, bro. What do you think Jeff Neal's chances are against Prates? He's got a chance, but I think he's outgunned. Petrino beats Smith. I have an extra 300. I would have an extra 350 in my pocket. I think I would have more money too. What do you think about them? The first 2 fights and in the judging in them, I had bread on both and lost my mind. First fight I thought should have went to Santos. Second fight I thought should have went to Marshall, bro. Give me Ilya versus Dustin. I think Dustin will beat him. It's not going to happen, bro. Everyone's always saying Ilya versus Dustin. It's not going to happen. We need Charles news. Who you reckon he fighting next? Give Charles fucking... I don't fucking know. I honestly don't fucking know. No idea. I guess maybe you could do Holloway versus Charles, but I think Holloway's fighting Poirier. Give fucking Charles... No, don't do that. I don't know. I have no idea. Cycle parlay almost hit. It almost did. Right? Like, what the F? That back-to-back with robbery. Yeah, it was trash. UFC wants to only buy the patent for the gloves, and Trevor said no. I think he's doing pretty well if he declined. Yeah, dude. Onyx brand is huge. Trevor Whitman makes fucking bank. I could tell you that. Charles is going to probably going to fight a contender, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, he's going to. Gotta have to, bro. What's your opinion on UFC state with all the champions they have right now? Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. Like, I really don't think it's the worst that it could be. Because you don't really need a fucking champion. Like, you don't need Pereira to be champion. Like, obviously it helps, but any fight that Pereira is in, people are going to watch. You know, like, it's like Israel Adesanya. People are still going to watch Israel Adesanya, even if he's not champion. So, it's not bad. Bring Jalen Turner back to get KO by Rufy. Yeah, I don't think Jalen Turner's going to sign up for that. I can just tell you. The Moicano breakdown on the Pimlet Chandler fight. That was hilarious, bro. That had me rolling. What's your rating overall for 313? Overall rating, I'd give it like a 6, 6.5. 5 is average. I broke this down before, but 5 is average. An average pay-per-view. This is a little slightly above. Slightly above. I give it a 6, 6.5. What you reckon Taporia news is? It could be Taporia versus Connor. Who the fuck knows? Do I still work a 9 to 5? No. I have never worked a 9 to 5. Never have. Hopefully never will. That decision lay on the Friday night long shot show was pretty sweet. It was sweet. I wish I would have tailed it, bro. I wish I would have tailed it. Rakatona versus Beksat Elmakan. Is that a fight that's happening? I have no idea. UFC still has a bunch of stars, but don't you think that the lack of finishing potential in these main events will hurt the pay-per-view numbers? No. I don't think it won't. I don't think it'll hurt the pay-per-view numbers because just because a finish doesn't happen, people already bought it. Like, just because a finish didn't happen last night doesn't mean the pay-per-view sales were worse than if there was a finish. You know? I guess maybe if people bought it after the fact, but that would just be stupid. Great show, HJ. Appreciate you, bro. That's my cue. dip out of here. I'll read these last two chats and then I'm out. You think Jalen Turner will make a return once he gets his head right? I think he will. Robbie Lard of the HOF was a really wholesome moment, man. I literally cried. Who do you think is next? No idea. No idea. But yeah, that was sick to see Robbie Lawler go in. Should Bobby put the gloves down? Probably, but he won't because he's probably getting some decent money to show up. We're just in a dead era of champs right now. That's the only thing driving pay-per-view sales down. Well, it looks like it could be. We could be going away from the pay-per-views. You know, if the UFC signs a deal with like Netflix because their rights deal is coming up, and they're either going to re-sign with ESPN or with Disney, I should say, or they're going to go like a Netflix route or something like that. And if it's a Netflix route, maybe they just don't have pay-per-views and they're all on Netflix. We saw Dana's face, yeah. How the F do you not have to work or ever? I've never worked a 9-to-5 because I've been self-employed since I was 19, bro. So instead of working 9-to-5, I work 24 hours a day. Work never stops, bro. Work never stops. Not 24 hours, but I put in long days. Just tell you that. It's not a 9-to-5. It's an all day, every day type of thing. All right, we're going to cut that off. Sunday Service episode number 42 in the books. Powhatan down.
Shama.
No Shama. Ankalaev champ. Appreciate y'all for joining Sunday Service. If you haven't checked out the early picks video yet on the YouTube, check it out. I already dropped it today for UFC Vegas 104 next week. I'll have the official picks to you on the channel as well. I already got one bet in for UFC Vegas 104 on Saturday. If you want those, link down in the description to join the betting service. Had a crazy good night last night. So hopefully we can continue that. But have a good rest of your Sunday night. I'm out.